All right, let's talk about a microscopic organism that honestly gets a pretty bad rap just because of its family name. This is Entamoeba polecki. And what's so fascinating is that it's less of a dangerous bug and more of a biological detective. Its presence tells us a much bigger story about our food, our travels, and the deep connection between our health and the health of animals.
Okay, to really get this, you have to see the family contrast. On one side, you've got the notorious Entamoeba histolytica. This is the one you read about in textbooks. It's the cause of severe, sometimes even deadly amoebic dysentery. But then you have its misunderstood relative, Entamoeba polecki. It looks almost identical under a microscope, and yeah, we find it in humans, but its story is way more complicated and, frankly, a whole lot less scary.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll properly meet the family, infamous members and all. Then we'll follow this little globetrotter on its journey around the world. We'll look at its simple but super effective life cycle and then tackle the big question: is it a harmless guest or a hidden clue? After that, we'll jump into the lab to see how scientists crack the case of telling it apart from its dangerous cousins, and finally, what we can do about it.
All right, first things first, let's get a proper introduction to our main subject and see exactly where it fits in the vast microbial world.
So, at its most basic, Entamoeba polecki is a single-celled protozoan. It's also an endoparasite, which is just a fancy way of saying it lives inside its host. Now, here's the key thing. Its main home isn't people. It prefers animals, especially pigs and monkeys. This makes it a classic zoonotic organism, one that can make the leap from animals to human.
So how exactly does a parasite like this get around? Well, its journey from animal to human is a really fascinating story about modern life, our farms, our travel, and our migration patterns. The story of Entamoeba polecki almost always kicks off with its natural hosts. Pigs are by a long shot the biggest reservoir. The parasite can live there in huge numbers, usually without making the pigs sick at all. From there, it can spill over into humans, and we become what are called accidental hosts. And this is a perfect example of how parasites travel right along with us. In a place like the Netherlands, you're not likely to just pick up Entamoeba polecki from the local environment. Instead, when doctors find it, it's almost always in people who have traveled to or moved from areas where the parasite is more common. It's literally an imported parasite.
Now check this out, because this is smart public health in action. This table shows how Dutch authorities are strategic. They don't just test everyone. They know to look for Entamoeba polecki in specific groups, like travelers coming home with some mild gut issues, or in refugee and migrant groups, especially those from rural areas where exposure is more likely. Okay, so how does this thing actually survive and spread? The secret is in its remarkably simple but really effective two-stage life cycle. It's really a tale of two forms. First up, you've got the cyst. Think of this as the armored-up, dormant survival pod. It gets passed in feces and can hang out in the environment for a while. This is the infectious stage. Then, once it's ingested by a new host, it transforms into the trophozoid. This is the active, feeding, and multiplying stage that sets up shop in the large intestine.
And that brings us to the big one, the question that really matters for anyone who might find out they have it. Is Entamoeba polecki actually dangerous?
And the answer is probably not. I mean, it has been linked to some cases of mild, nagging diarrhea, but for the most part, it's considered non-pathogenic. The thing is, its real importance isn't about the harm it causes itself, but about what its presence tells you.
Think of it like a biological red flag. Finding Entamoeba polecki in a patient sample is a huge clue for doctors. It means that person has somehow ingested food or water contaminated with feces. And look, if they were exposed to Entamoeba polecki, it means they could have just as easily been exposed to something way more dangerous that travels the exact same route.
So, if it's so critical to identify it correctly, how in the world do labs tell it apart from its dangerous cousin, Entamoeba histolytica, when they look like twins under the microscope?
You know, this has been a massive headache for diagnosticians for decades. You look through a microscope, and the cysts of Entamoeba polecki and Entamoeba histolytica are notoriously hard to tell apart. This is a big problem. It can lead to misdiagnosis. Either you're treating a harmless bug with unnecessary drugs, or even worse, you miss a dangerous infection.
But, luckily for us, we don't have to rely on just our eyes anymore. Modern molecular tools have totally changed the game, giving us the ability to solve this case of mistaken identity with incredible precision.
So we have techniques like PCR,
polymerase chain reaction. You can think of it as a genetic fingerprinting test for microbes. It reads the parasite's unique DNA and gives a definitive ID, telling the good guys from the bad guys with nearly perfect accuracy. This takes all the guesswork out of it and ensures patients get exactly the right diagnosis.
All right, let's bring it all home and talk about how these infections are managed when they do cause problems, and take a look at where the science is heading next.
Okay, so if you don't have symptoms, you generally don't get treated. But if you do, the guidelines can vary a bit. International groups like the CDC often suggest a 1-2 punch. First, a drug like metronidazole to kill the active trophozoites, followed by what's called a luminal agent to clear out any of those tough cysts still hanging out. The Dutch approach, on the other hand, usually just sticks with metronidazole by itself.
And the push to understand this better is a really big deal. Just to give you a sense of the scale here, one recent study in Indonesia found that nearly 70% of pigs on commercial farms were carrying Entamoeba polecki. That just highlights the massive animal reservoir out there and the constant potential for it to spill over into people. And really, this all leads to a super important concept in modern public health. To truly get a handle on a zoonotic bug like Entamoeba polecki, you can't just study it in human patients. You need a One Health approach, which means connecting the dots between human medicine, veterinary science, and environmental monitoring. It's all connected. So that's the story of Entamoeba polecki, the parasite that's more of a clue than a culprit. We put this whole analysis together using a Gemini deep search of scientific literature and public health reports. If you want to dive even deeper, we've linked a document with all of our sources for you to check out.
Hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please do subscribe to the channel, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, or maybe what topic we should tackle next, down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.